Hi and welcome. I'm Claudine Wong, an anchor at KTVU, and welcome to this roundtable of candidates running for Central Contra Costa Sanitary District Director, District 5. District 5 spans central Contra Costa cities of Alamo, Clayton, Clyde, Danville, Lafayette, Martinez, Moraga, Pacheco, Pleasant Hill, San Ramon, and Walnut Creek. Today's roundtable is sponsored by the Contra Costa County Elections Division, the League of Women Voters of Diablo Valley and West Contra Costa County, and Contra Costa Television, with support from the cities of Antioch, Concord, and Walnut Creek. We are recording this roundtable live in the Martinez studios of Contra Costa Television. And the candidates participating are Ben-Cedar Geary and Jean Froliker-Kuznick. And prior to the start of today's program, the candidates did draw lots to determine their speaking order. And we're going to begin with Ben-Cedar Geary. Please introduce yourself to the voters if you can.
My name is Ben-Cedar Geary. You can call me Bansi, the first 5 letters of my first name, and that's how my family calls me. I live in San Ramon for the past 3 years, and before that I was living in Fremont. I have a corporate work experience for the past 25 years, and I have a technical background. Nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Jean, will you introduce yourself to our voters?
Great, thank you for having us. Jean Froliker-Kuznick, that's how it is on the ballot, Jean Kuznick. I'm a 30-year resident in San Ramon, currently serving my second term on our San Ramon Planning Commission. I retired from being a school teacher, specifically in the science classrooms, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Happy to have you both here and to have this important discussion as people learn more about you guys as candidates and also about this position you're seeking. Jean, I'll follow up with you in terms of why you are seeking this position as district director for Division 5.
Well, thank you for that's a great question. I was actually approached to consider running for this office. It's a brand new district. This is the first time the board has had district elections, and San Ramon has its own seat now. So I think when I was approached to think about this, they knew that I was an experienced board member, that I have a reputation for doing my homework, being very prepared for sitting on a commission, and that I understand how a commission works and the collaboration that is required with your fellow board members. So that was part of why I'm running for this office.
Nancy, and why do you seek this position?
Actually, it all happened in a way that, my son, who is a first-year student in SJSU, he saw an email or a pipeline newsletter from Sanitary District. It was about the Central San Academy where they conduct some classes. So we kind of attended that as a family, and then they showed us what they're doing and how well we keep our base safe for everyone. So during those conversations, this director role came up, and they said, San Ramon is going to be a new division on its own. So, and there's going to be a director position open, and that's how I came to know of it. And then I was thinking quite a while, and then it started. Okay, let me just start doing something back to the society.
So giving back, and then tell me about priorities. Let's talk about priorities and what you think in that position as director would be a priority for you for Division 5.
So my first priority would be of course, first take care of the stakeholders, that's public, how to serve them better. I know we are doing a good job here in San Ramon. At the same time, what are the competing priorities? If they are brought back to our desk, just analyze what is there, because I have a technical background. I do a lot of technical jobs, so we do come across such situations in our professional life where we see hey, this is the amount of money we have. These are the projects that we need to do. How to kind of assess the risk, based on what needs to be done for the public, to serve the public. So that's how I see it. So that based on that, I probably settle down with my priorities.
Okay. And Jean, your priorities for this district?
One of the first priorities is to really look at this issue of recycling and reclaiming waters. It is something that the district is going to be facing in the next 5 to 10 years. It's both very technically difficult, and it has the potential for being costly to the ratepayers. So while we're trying to keep costs manageable, because the customers pay the bill, but we also have a responsibility to maintain the health of the bay. So as we are looking at how to work with this problem, that's really a priority. It's very important to me that we continue to have an outstanding qualified workforce and to really make sure that we are doing what is required, both regulatory and in terms of maintaining quality services for the customers. They are the beginning and the end of what Central San happens. Just think about that when you are using water in your home. And so it's really an important priority to maintain the health of the bay.
So when you're looking at, because it's a new position, and you're looking at the health of how Central San works, are you seeing something that you're saying, hey, as voters, there's something you might not know about this and something that we need to fix, or do you think it's running as it should be?
Well, the answer to that is actually both. First of all, it is an amazingly well-run organization, and I think the fact that most people don't know about the Central Sanitary is a credit to their efficiency and successes. However, in the next 5 to 10 years, there's this issue called nutrient mitigation. It has the potential for being very costly, and it's very important for maintaining the health of the bay. So one of the things I look forward to is using my experience as a school teacher, my experience in being able to communicate with the citizens of San Ramon, how they can partner with this problem, how they can be a help in keeping this cost under control. It will require great technical expertise, and the district is already working on it, but it will represent an issue coming forward.
Okay, and I throw the same question to you, Vansi, in terms of when you're taking a look at the district, a new position, what do you think is being done well, and what do you think might need to change?
I think they're doing a pretty good job. That's what I learned when I went to the Central San Academy. What can I bring to the table is in my undergrad, I did do a water quality modeling project, both in my undergrad and master's. So where we have to do model effluents that goes inside the water, how should be treated, how it gets distributed in the various divisions of the water, like upper layer, lower layer. So technical expertise is I do have, I can reach out to people, I have contacts. But when it comes to budgeting and assigning priorities, I think I can bring my corporate experience that I do in my job, and then that's my plan actually. And also one thing that I want to point out is, like, say for example, I'm drawing parallels here. This morning I was commuting through Crow Canyon, and there was some construction work going on. Similarly, in Bollinger Canyon also there was some construction and the road is closed. So we need to conduct our projects in such a way that these things don't happen at the same time, because people who live in the San Ramon, they're planning to take either Bollinger Canyon or Crow Canyon to catch 680, right? So I'm just giving you an example. So it's just, I'm drawing parallels. It might not be applicable directly to the sanitary district, but we need to keep in mind of that as well. Yeah.
So can I ask you how you feel that you are in terms of differences between you and your opponent? What differences do you see make you different candidates?
Well, I mean, my father's a teacher, so I respect teachers very much. So we can't take that away from me. The only difference I can see, I didn't do kind of analysis or anything based on what is going on right now. I do have experience in the corporate sector, which I can bring it back to the table for sanitary district, Central Sanitary District. So just I'd like to point out that's it.
Okay, and Jean, as voters are trying to determine the differences between you and your opponent for the seat, where do you see changes in between you and Vansi?
That's great. I think one of the things that I bring to the seat is that I've been appointed to both the Parks Commission and to the Planning Commission. And I say that because two components. One, it shows that our city council members thought that I was the best candidate as those positions became available. But secondly, when you step into a seat like that for the first time, what you don't know, you don't know. And so consequently, there's a lot to know about how to manage this. My first agenda on the Planning Commission was 495 pages. And most people don't know how much homework goes into being prepared for those meetings, knowing how they work, listening to your staff, what your responsibilities and what you're allowed to comment and decide on. it's not as simple as like, well, this is what I want. And so there's more behind the scenes, and I feel like I'm a good representative and ready to step into this seat on day one.
How have you been reaching out to voters?
I have been attending a weekly lunch meeting for a number of years now with city leaders. That includes council members, the chief of police, the fire chief, members from East Bay MUD, Dublin San Ramon Services. We meet weekly to talk about what the issues are, and I feel very fortunate to be part of that group. But also just I'm walking to neighborhoods, visiting school areas. I feel it's a good place to start meeting people, and just trying to let them know that this seat is available and that it'll be part of the ballot right now.
Nancy, how have you been reaching out to voters?
For me, it has been mostly electronic. Like, I reach out to my friends first, obviously, in the first circle to let them know, like, hey, there's a post like this, and I'm running for it. And then I do participate regularly in my daughter's school sports. I go with her, kind of get familiarized with the local people over there. And then I also go to farmers market. That's one of the ways to reach out to people. And then I just kind of introduce myself and tell them, like, hey, this is something coming up. And I'm just, if you see me in the ballot, please vote for me. Yeah.
And I think certain positions to this, it's all about voter engagement and getting people to the ballot. So what are you hearing from voters in terms of what their concerns are, and how do you address those concerns?
To be frank, they don't know that there is something called Central Sanitary District. So then I kind of have to show them examples like how they see the storm drain on the roads, So then slowly I connect them with what's happening, in the sense like, hey, it's not like whatever you flush at home, it's just, it's not going to go to the bay. There is one big organization there in Martinis just to kind of treat our water so that it will be safely let into the bay. So then that's the kind of a light bulb moment for them to see, like, oh, that's why it's there. So that's how I start the conversation. And then they kind of also tell them, if you Iron Horse Trail, if you walk or bike, you see all the holes there, like where you can see closely, look at it. It tells us, like, the Central Sanitary District, and that's what we do in the sense, like, so that's how I connect with people, so that what's happening in the real life, so it's easier for them also to understand.
Yep. Jean, do you find what kind of voter engagement are you hearing from, and is there a also education component to this type of position for folks?
I have found similar situations, which when people say, what is the sanitary board? And so when you say, like, I'm running for the sewer board, they go, oh, okay, got it. And part of this is that we pay our fees on our tax bill. So people, first of all, have to find out if they're in the district. But what they're really concerned about is water quality. As we are dealing in climate change, people want to know that the water that they're drinking is safe, that it's safe for the bay, it's safe for our children. But I also find that once we start talking about it, they're very interested in knowing how they can be an active participant, an engaged participant in maintaining water quality, in maintaining the health of the bay, keeping rates down. And they're very simple things. Don't put miscellaneous things down your pipes. The district talks about the 3 Ps, which I will let the voters fill in the blanks. But we are participants. We're not just helpless people in this. And so something as simple as, the district has to deal with all the medications that end up in our sewer systems.
Which can be a lot.
Yeah.
Can you I want to follow up with that and talk about why you think this position, and we touched on it being new, is important, and what role, if you can expand on that it plays in terms of the representation of voters in this district, saying this is maybe something that has not been addressed.
Right. Well, I think San Ramon has become really known in this area for being a very diverse community. We have people of all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of places of origin, and that they are a very engaged community. They're very representative of the greater Bay Area community. They are active members of attending leadership opportunities, and we're very blessed by that. And so I think when they created the district, they were very anxious to bring in that community to be really a voice of partners with what they're doing and hearing what's happening in our area.
Bonsi, I put that to you as well. Why do you think this position is so important?
I think the capacity that Central Sanitary District have to accommodate what is there right now, I think I feel it's well and good enough. But I see a lot of growth opportunities in terms of, like, you see constructions everywhere, housing constructions. If you go in the Bollinger Canyon and we're not, like, further down in the Crow Canyon. So I suspect, like, there's going to be more and more people going to move into San Ramon, and we need to kind of position ourselves in such a way that, we can handle the kind of water that's going to be come out of all those communities, So that's one of the reason I think I just want to be at a place where see whether we are kind of going to scale up at the right way with the minimal cost, so that it'll be not a big burden for the people living here. Yeah.
If I go back to priorities, I've read that the Central Sanitation District has also done, some moves to green energy and changing in that direction. Can you speak to just when people say, where do you see the future of this, given everything you've talked about with San Ramon, as well as both of you talking about growth, that where in a healthy space it goes in a larger concept?
So it's a balance that we have to take. On one side, we have to treat all the waste, and there's always a cost associated with it. And then there's a regulatory body, right? So who tells us, like, hey, you cannot go beyond this particular limit on this particular chemicals or whatnot. So it's just, you need to strike a balance, I would believe. But I hope the technology will help us. The technology that's coming up will help us to kind of find a balance, both in terms of treating the effluents. When I say the effluents, I'm talking about the water from the households. So, as well as the how to do it in a cost-effective way. So initially, when the technology comes, it's always very, very costlier. But as we kind of start using it, fine-tune it, there'll come a point of time where we can find a balance between these two. So that's where I see we can go. We have just potential opportunities to grow in that area.
And Jean, in terms of looking ahead and big projects, you've mentioned some of them, the 5 and 10 year plans and modernizing. What do you see in the big picture of priorities to make sure that, you guys both as candidates have said, I think it's going pretty well, that we're still saying that down the road?
Right. So the priority is to maintain quality services, keep costs reasonable, and to really deal with some of the coming regulatory issues, clean water and so forth. But I think one of the things that has to be addressed is, how do we partner with the community, and how do we engage them to help us with this responsibility? And so it is a role of speaking on behalf of the community and listening to the community and bringing that back to the board.
Yeah. In terms of your next, month or so we have as people are continuing to watch this and watch these forums, do you find that you are struggling to have voters engaged, or do you see that they are engaged, and how are you going to be a part of that and really getting people, educated into the ballot box?
It's a matter of, again, letting them know that this is on the ballot. It will be probably farther down the ballot, and as we're in the middle of a presidential cycle, it's certainly amongst the conversations. So it's educating people about it, first of all, explaining what the district is. That's the first level of conversation, as Bonsi has mentioned. And then once you get them talking, that they have lots of questions, and I've had the opportunity to meet with the general manager and his management team recently and ask them questions about what are your accomplishments, what are your concerns. It was very informative. And so I'm prepared to share those with people as we're talking about this. And so I'm comfortable in talking with people I've just met. It's part of my history as being a teacher, communicating complex ideas in a way that is very understandable. And I found it really rewarding as I've begun this conversation with members of our community.
Yeah. Bonsi, in your run-up to November?
Yeah, so it's more like connecting with the voters, using examples that they see in day-to-day life, just as I was telling before, the stormwater drain. So once you kind of connect with those kind of events or pointers, they kind of get very much interested, they get very much engaged and start asking questions, follow-up questions. Oh, is this how it's done? Oh, I didn't know this. So I think that's one of the ways to reach out to them, as well as connecting them, make them interested, and then make it a point that they will do it and come and vote during the voting season, yeah.
So you have to interact with the voters. You also have to interact with the other members of the sanitation district, the other directors. How much interaction have you had, and what do you feel would make you the most effective in working with the other people in the sanitation district?
Okay, I haven't met any of the directors yet. Yesterday I was watching their board meeting in the video, like they have, every twice a month they conduct board meetings. And I was just looking at the video, and then I was getting familiar with self, with who are there in the board, and then there's one seat available for San Ramon starting from next year. So I kind of understood how things are going on, the new employees whom they hire, they come back and they announce it in the board meeting, and then they do make sure that projects are being budgeted and sanctioned during this board meeting. So I think again, to bring back my corporate experience, I can utilize that and interact with them seamlessly. Yeah.
Okay, and Gina, I'll put that to you in terms of working on the board with the other directors and moving forward. What do you think the qualities that you have, and what is your strategy to make sure that that is I don't want to call it seamless, but a smooth process?
Thank you. So I also attended the Water Academy put on by Central San, and I had the opportunity to meet with many of the current board members. I had long conversations about their experience on the board, reaching out to voters. It was very informative. I also was at the last board meeting, addressed the board, and again spoke with staff members. So I feel like I'm ready to step into that seat. I've made myself available to them. I've collected their business cards, we have conversations. And so when it comes time to take the oath of office, I'm ready to sit down to understand how you read the agendas, how to deal with staff, what questions you ask, and the discussion that the board has in voting on resolutions.
I feel like this Water Academy is something that maybe people should sign up for. You both have mentioned how beneficial it was.
It is an awesome opportunity, and I'm so grateful that the district puts them on. It wasn't just in San Ramon. We had so many people from Lafayette, Orinda, Concord who attended, heard from great staff members. They have such amazing people working at that institution, and it was really informative.
So good PSA to make sure.
I feel the same way. They do a great job. We do get a pipeline newsletter. In fact, I gave them a feedback that continue sending that because people like us are looking into it. It's not like just a paper. We're just throwing it out from the mailbox. So I kind of gave that feedback, and they do a great job in explaining what they're doing.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we want to thank each of our candidates for being here to answer some of the many important questions from the constituents. Each candidate is now going to have 2 minutes to make a closing statement, and we'll start with you, Gina.
Great. Thank you so much. So first of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having this opportunity to address the voters of the Central Sanitary District 5. When the district went to a district-level seat, I believe they were looking for someone from San Ramon who's engaged in city leadership, who's connected to the residents, and has the experience in board functioning. I'm on my second term on the San Ramon Planning Commission, and I'm currently the chair. And before that, I was in the Parks and Community Services District. I've had the opportunity these last 9 years to work with city leaders in developing the vision for the Tri-Valley area. I'm currently a member of a weekly luncheon group that includes city council members, Planning Commission, Parks Commission members, the chief of staff from our county supervisor, school board members, fire department members. So I am connected with the people in the valley that have information about how to address San Ramon issues, and I will continue to do that. I sit on committees that have selected a variety of advisory boards. So I've embraced the learning opportunities presented in the San Ramon Valley, such as the Water Academy and Leadership San Ramon Valley. I also have attended Planning Commission conferences, and I have kept myself up to date on all the current issues. I will use my career in science teaching to help educate our citizens on what it takes to be good, engaged members of the Central Sanitary District. One of the things as voters are selecting for this is I've received the endorsement of 3 different city councils to become board members. So if the leaders of San Ramon have believed that I am a good candidate for important commissions like the Parks Commission and Planning Commission, I believe the voters think that I will be the best person for this seat as well. Thank you.
All right. Jean Froliker-Kuznick, thank you so much. Monsieur, I'll give you your 2 minutes.
Okay, my name is Bansidhar Giri. This is exactly how you're going to see in the ballot. I come from a small town. I've lived here in the United States for the past 23 years now. I moved to San Ramon 3 years ago. As I said, I have a very technical background, and I did a lot of water quality studies during my undergrad and postgrad, and I'm very much interested in serving the San Ramon people here in San Ramon. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you to both candidates. That does conclude today's candidate roundtable for the Contra Costa Central Sanitary Director, Division 5. Once again, your candidates are Bansidhar Giri and Jean Froliker-Kuznick. For more information about the candidates, you can visit vote411.org. And to view this broadcast online or to get more voting information, all you have to do is go to contracostavote.gov/elections. And for information on election security measures, you can visit secureelection.org. I'm Claudine Wong from KTVU. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to vote on November 5th.